Kirk Cousins' dreams crushed? Falcons QB drama takes a dark turn. The Atlanta Falcons have found themselves in a quarterback dilemma that no one could have predicted, and it's one that threatens to disrupt the team's future. This controversy involves a veteran quarterback, Kirk Cousins, whose once promising future with the Falcons now hangs in the balance as the franchise navigates its evolving quarterback situation. A mid-season injury, a high-profile draft pick, and an unanticipated power struggle have set the stage for a dramatic turn of events that has left fans, analysts, and even Cousins himself questioning where his career is headed. In March 2024, the Atlanta Falcons made a bold move to sign veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million contract, hoping to find stability at the most important position on the field. Cousins, a former Pro Bowl quarterback who had a successful tenure with the Minnesota Vikings, seemed like the perfect solution for a team that had struggled to find consistency at the quarterback position. The Falcons had high hopes for their offense, and with Cousins at the helm, they believed they could contend for a playoff spot. However, as quickly as Cousins' arrival seemed like a victory for the Falcons, the situation began to unravel. A few months after Cousins signed his contract, the Falcons' 2024 NFL Draft brought unexpected drama. The Falcons, under the leadership of General Manager Terry Fontenot and head coach Raheem Morris, shocked the league by selecting Michael Penix Jr. with the 8th overall pick in the draft. Penix, a talented quarterback out of Washington, quickly became a source of both excitement and tension for the Falcons. Cousins, who had expected to be the undisputed starter, was faced with the harsh reality that the Falcons were planning to bring in a young quarterback to potentially take over. The news didn't sit well with Cousins, who had always prided himself on his consistency and leadership on the field. His situation became even more complicated when an injury sidelined him during the season, leaving Penix Jr. to step in as the starting quarterback. Penix Jr.'s performance, while promising in some aspects, was far from flawless. He showed flashes of brilliance, displaying a strong arm and impressive poise in high-pressure situations. But his inconsistency raised concerns among the coaching staff and the fan base. Despite this, head coach Raheem Morris made a public statement dismissing any notion of a quarterback controversy, reaffirming his commitment to Penix Jr. as the team's future leader. This declaration effectively sent a message to Cousins that his starting job was not as secure as he had hoped. For Cousins, the reality of the situation was difficult to swallow. After suffering a significant injury, the prospect of returning to a backup role was not one he was willing to accept. Kirk Cousins had spent the majority of his career as a starter and was not about to step aside without a fight. Sources close to Cousins revealed that he had expressed his desire to start, not only for the Falcons but for any team that would offer him the opportunity. He was not content to spend the remainder of his career in a backup capacity. Rumors began swirling that Cousins might be open to a trade, and that he was even willing to waive his no-trade clause to facilitate a move. Teams in need of a reliable quarterback, such as the Cleveland Browns, were mentioned as potential destinations. The Browns had faced their own quarterback struggles in recent years, and Cousins, with his experience and track record, seemed like a logical solution. However, Cousins' unwillingness to facilitate a trade before the 2025 NFL Draft created a stalemate, and both parties found themselves stuck in limbo. Cousins' agent, Mike McCartney, made it clear that the quarterback's intentions were to play as a starter, and if the Falcons were not willing to give him that opportunity, he would pursue a move elsewhere. The situation was becoming increasingly tense, and with each passing week, the drama surrounding the Falcons' quarterback position only seemed to grow. From a financial standpoint, the Falcons faced a difficult decision. Cousins' hefty contract, which included a guaranteed $27.5 million salary for 2025, was a major factor in their inability to trade him easily. The Falcons had invested significant resources in Cousins, and moving on from him would require a substantial financial commitment. At the same time, Penix Jr.'s development was still in question, and the team's future hinged on whether he could eventually become the franchise quarterback they envisioned when they drafted him. The Falcons were now caught in a catch-22. If they kept Cousins, they risked having a disgruntled veteran quarterback on the roster, which could negatively impact the locker room and overall team chemistry. But if they traded him, They would have to face the possibility that Penix Jr. might not be ready to take over the starting role immediately, potentially leaving the team without an experienced leader under center. The timing of Cousins' potential departure was also critical. A post-June 1 trade would give the Falcons salary cap relief, but that also meant they would lose valuable time to either find a replacement or give Penix Jr. more playing experience. The uncertainty surrounding Cousins' future with the Falcons became a topic of great debate among fans and analysts alike. Some believed that the Falcons should move on from Cousins and fully embrace Penix Jr. as potential, even if it meant enduring growing pains in the short term. Others, however, argued that the team's playoff aspirations would be severely hampered if they moved on from Cousins too quickly. With the NFC South being one of the more competitive divisions in the NFL, having an experienced quarterback like Cousins could make the difference between making the playoffs and missing out entirely. As the 2025 NFL Draft approached, the situation only became more complicated. The Falcons had to decide whether to stick with Cousins for one more season and hope that Penix Jr. could develop into a reliable backup, or if they should cut ties with the veteran quarterback and fully commit to the future. The draft would play a crucial role in determining the Falcons' next steps. If they used their first-round pick to address other areas of need, such as improving their defense or bolstering the offensive line, they could focus on developing Penix Jr. over time. However, if they chose to add another quarterback to the mix, the drama would only intensify and the team could find itself back at square one. Meanwhile, the clock was ticking for Kirk Cousins. At 36 years old, his window of opportunity was closing. If the Falcons didn't provide him with a starting role, Cousins would be forced to seek other options. The Cleveland Browns and several other teams in need of a veteran quarterback would likely be interested, but Cousins knew that the more time that passed, the fewer opportunities he would have to secure a prominent role on a competitive team. The stakes were high, not only for Cousins but for the Falcons as well. A failed resolution to the quarterback situation could have long-lasting repercussions for both the franchise's performance and its future prospects. If Cousins was traded away, it would mark the end of an era for the Falcons and could signal a major shift in their organizational philosophy. On the other hand, if the team chose to keep him, it would likely have to address questions about the direction of their roster and the future of their young quarterback, Penix Jr. The drama surrounding Kirk Cousins and the Falcons' quarterback situation represents a complex, multifaceted dilemma. With no easy answers in sight, both Cousins and the Falcons are left to navigate a path forward. The quarterback drama in Atlanta is far from over, and how it resolves will shape the franchise for years to come. For now, fans and analysts can only wait and wonder whether Cousins' dreams will be crushed or if the Falcons will find a way to resolve the situation that satisfies both parties and sets them up for success in the future.